COP26 happened at the start of November. World leaders flew in from all over the place, massive, great big talks, massive, great big agreements about what's going to happen. But what does it mean for your business? Let's take a look at the impact COP26 had on small businesses, large businesses, and enterprise scale businesses. So COP26, world leaders flew in. They did a lot of discussion and, looking at the reports and reading some of the interviews, people worked hard to try and achieve something. But what did they achieve in terms of changing the way you do business, both now and in the future? Let's take a look. I'm going to split this talk into three components: a summary, impact on large companies, impact on small companies. So let's start off with the summary, and this is going to be quite a short video, and it's a bit of a shame really. I was quite hoping to do a longer video, and I'd like to be talking about what they did to bring in, for example, all of the net zero work that people are working really hard on in terms of standards, and how those standards are going to be applied to businesses, but there was none of that. The person who summed it up best for me was Greta, when she said, blah, blah, blah. Good old Greta, I've got a lot of time for her. I think she speaks a lot of sense. And she was saying, look, this is just a talking shop, and nothing major came out of it. For businesses, that's probably true. And you'll see that when I get to small businesses here, there's a bit of planning you need to do, but that's it. No major change. Nothing needs to change. I was hoping that they would announce the changes to ESOS, the Energy Saving Opportunity Scheme in the UK, and actually come off the fence and say what the new scheme is going to be, but they didn't. I was hoping that they'd take the rumours of the Streamlined Energy and Carbon Reporting Scheme, SECR, where it's been rumoured that net zero calculations will be brought into the standard as well as energy calculations, but they didn't. So what have I got to talk about to you today? There's a couple of bits and bobs for large companies, but that's about it. And I wish it were longer. I wish that somehow they'd taken the opportunity to sort of, I don't know, get rid of some of the rumours that are out there, because there's lots of rumours circulating about what is going to happen, but it would be great if they could have bedded them out. So let's see what did happen. Let's see what did get announced, okay? First off, for large companies. With great fanfare and with great aplomb, they have formally announced the TCFD scheme. It's quite weird really, because we all knew it was coming. Many of my clients are already kind of halfway through the planning. And what does that mean? Let's have a look at TCFD, shall we? The Task Force for Climate Change Financial Disclosure, that's what it stands for. And it was a working party set up out of the COP21 conference. That's the one that sort of started all of this. And they said, if you're a large company, specifically, where can I write on this board? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at, I'll put it at the top. If you have over 500 staff and 500 million turnover, you need to publish a TCFD, TCFD disclosure on or in the reporting accounts that are the next set of reporting accounts after the 6th of April 2022. Okay. 2022. Now, that also applies to banks and building societies, and it also applies to listed companies. And if you're wondering, my read on the definition of listed companies is listed on the main London Stock Exchange, not on AIM. Okay, so if you're on AIM, I don't think this applies to you. The idea is to bring in TCFD and roll it out throughout other sectors of the industry and lower the boundary conditions for qualification. So eventually it will become sort of mandatory for all companies. Again, that's a rumour, not a fact. But if you fall into that category, you have a TCFD report to prepare. Now, I thought I'd share the good news for you. is that there's an organisation, I'm prepared for a few acronyms here, there's an organisation called the IFRS Foundation, and I'm sneakily looking down there because I've written it down, IFRS Foundation. They have set up a new component of their organisation called the International Sustainability Standards Board, the ISSB. And the ISSB have published what they think is a worldwide standard for climate change financial disclosures. Okay, so that's the good news. The good news is we've got some documents now to refer back to and say, well, what is a financial disclosure? What needs to go into it and what doesn't need to go into it? And I've read all the stuff issued by the stock exchange. It's pretty good. Whoever wrote that, well done, chaps and chapasses. You did a great job. But the one by ISSB, look, I printed it, all right? And maybe I shouldn't have printed it, and you'll see why. This is the ISSB recommended disclosure. These are the regulations that govern what should be in it and not in it. It's a cool 500 pages. Compare that there to, for example, this is the SBTI Corporate Net Zero Standard, which was published around about 3 weeks ago. That's my favourite standard. I love that one to pieces. It's great. And the one that I think a lot of UK guys are working to, PBN 0621. And you can see my problems. Look, if you've got a TCFD report to write, there you go. That's what you have to comply with. So good luck with that. I hope it goes really well. If you need a hand, and you will need a hand, let us know. But in fairness, I am still getting up to speed on these things, and so are my staff. So, I suspect we'll be fully briefed by probably late January, early Feb. But if you call me up at the moment, I want some TCFD advice. I'd say number one, probably buy a new printer, because that baby took ages to print. And I feel slightly guilty for printing it, but I won't be able to help you really until we get up to the next stage, which will probably be about, as I say, about February time. So if you're a large company, you have this to worry about. You are also required to take your carbon commitments, where you've said publicly, we are very green, we really are, and turn those into a workable plan by 2023. Okay? So that's if you're a large company, typically over 500 staff, 500 million. Only, I think, 2 or 3 of my clients fit that mold. Most are, smaller than that. Still large, but smaller than that. If you're not one of these companies, if you are a smaller company, I'll say small, it's smaller. I mean, you still might have, a turnover of 100 million or something like that. It's not small, but smaller than these criteria, then you don't have to do anything. It's as simple as that. There were no changes in COP26 that you need to be aware of. There were some plans made, shall we say, that we will be moving more and more towards decarbonisation. There were some warm words about science-based targets and the role that science-based targets have in your carbon journey. There were some discussions on how you should be setting aside some money perhaps this year and next year to start investing in really quite expensive carbon reduction assets. So for example, moving your fleet from diesel to electric based is one. Installation of solar is pretty much happened, past tense. Replacement of gas heating in some places with electric, using low carbon refrigerants, etc., all those kind of things. And you're going to be needing to do that over the next few years. But in COP26, no, you're not mandated to do anything. So you'd be wise to plan, you'd be wise to reserve some money, but no plans. So there you go. That's probably the summary. In essence, good old Greta, I like her a lot. And she said, it's greenwash, it's blah, blah, blah. It probably was. If you're a large company, the thing you already knew was going to happen, TCFD, has happened. Well, and it looks like a lot of work. So, I'll enjoy reading that over Christmas. But, there's a lot of work there. So if you're a large company, TCFD, but you knew about that already, And if you're a small company, there's nothing you need to change at the moment. Watch this space for changes in legislation in the UK over the course of the early part of 2022. I am expecting a couple of announcements, to clear up the ESOS and SECR rumours. But, let's wait and see. That's above my pay grade. Someone else can decide that. My job is to sort of make them work and tell you wonderful people about them. Okay, so if you've got any questions, let me know. Put a comment down in the area below. Jump onto the chat function that we run. Send me an email and I'll do my best to help. And that's on either COP26 or whatever there was of COP26, TCFD, or net zero, ESOS, SECR, anything like that. Pop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. And if we can get the opportunity, we'll publish a video response to your question as well. Okay, so there you go. Hope that was useful. See you next time.